You gotta work hard. You gotta get that big house. Dude, you need to be able to find that perfect partner. That way you can feel satisfied. Dude, you gotta be able to get those kids, right? If you don't have kids, then you're never gonna feel satisfied within yourself. Dude, you gotta be able to move up in that corporate ladder. If you don't get there, then you're not gonna be able to make enough money. And if you don't have enough money, you'll never be satisfied. You'll never be the best you. Have you ever had this happen to you? I was told this for not even very many years when you compare it to someone else. But even for the short amount of time that I was told this from the age of 15 up until the age about 23 when I quit my job last year, it didn't make sense. Why was it that I needed to keep chasing, right, after these physical things for me to be the best me? What do those physical things even have to do with me? So that's what I want to talk with you guys about today. Thank you so much for joining me on this broadcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Daily Dose with Dacia show. In this broadcast today, we're going to be talking about the in-depth process of how do we become our best self, right? People were always saying, go after being the best you, right? Do better, be more, grind, grind, grind. That way you can be the best you possible. But more than likely, right, if you're like a lot of people, you do this, right? You grind, you hustle, you try to work your absolute best. You work those 60-hour weeks, right? You get that house, you get all these fancy toys, but even then, you are not satisfied, right? So, how do we become the best us, right? Not the best us for what society is telling us, but the best us so that we feel satisfied, we feel at peace, and we feel empowered within ourselves while we still continue to grow. So, with that being said, make sure that you guys start saying hi as soon as you guys start jumping on. If you are on my YouTube channel, make sure to hit that subscribe and notifications button. Every single time that you hit that subscribe button, it helps me with being able to continue to do these videos for free. If you are watching on my podcast channel, I just want to thank you so much for your support, for listening in on here, and for all the donations that you guys send through. With that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, guys. And as you guys start jumping on, just drop a hello into the comments below. I love being able to give you guys a shout out, making this interactive. And that way we can kind of just feed off each other's energy. So, how do we become our best self? So, the first thing that I want to kind of dive into here is this, right? A lot of the times people say that you need to be your best self. But when they say that, they don't even really know what they're talking about, right? And let me explain what I mean by that. When someone says that I want to be the best version of me, oftentimes when you ask them, well, what does that look like? What does it look like to be the best you possible? Oftentimes they're like, oh, well, I mean, I would be making a bunch of money. I would be able to help anybody out that I wanted to. And I would be able to have all these fancy cars and all these physical attributes, right? They don't talk about their personal mental health. They don't talk about how they react to situations. They don't talk about the personal and romantic and business relationships that they have with other people. They don't talk about the legacy that they want to leave behind to other people. All they're talking about is this physical three-dimensional reality, these physical objects. And to be honest, guys, right, that doesn't do anything good for you, right? Think about that for a second. If you're wanting to be successful, if you're wanting to be the best you, right? If you want to be able to, even after you have passed, right, be able to leave behind this legacy where people want to come on and talk about you years and years and years after you're gone, right? It's not going to be you obtaining these physical things. It's going to be how were you as a person, right? So that's what I want to talk about. How do you become the best you? Not what society wants, but what you want personally. So there's a simple formula to do this, right? What you do is you see it, you feel it, and then you become it. So I actually want to dive into each individual one of these in depth so that way we can understand how do we actually tap into that? How do we become our best selves, right? So let's dive into the first one here. So see it. We need to be able to see it within our mind. So basically what this means is you need to be very, very clear, right? You need to be very, very clear on the type of person that you're wanting to be. It's not good enough to just say, I want to be better than what I am now, right? If you don't know what that is, then you're never going to be able to become satisfied, right? You're going to be chasing after basically nothing, right? If you're just working and working and working, but you don't have this destination in mind of what you're working towards, you're basically just turning your wheels, right? My mentor used to say all the time that it's like being in a Ferrari and going like 200 miles an hour, but not having a destination in mind. What's the point, right? If you're just going to keep turning your wheels going 200 miles an hour, but not doing anything about it, aren't you just wasting energy? Aren't you just wasting gas? Aren't you just wasting like good life battery, right, within yourself and within your vehicle itself, right, there's no point to it. You need to be able to have a very, very, very clear vision, right? You need to be able to envision it within yourself, right, of what type of person you want to be. One of the human needs that Tony Robbins says is that we still need the need to grow, right? Every single person feels that they need to grow. And with that being said, it makes sense that we want to keep chasing after something more. And that's not bad, right? For you to want to make yourself better, even if you're amazing, even if you're fantastic, even if people look up to you in the world, even if they say that you're the number one person when it comes to mindset and whatever else, right? Even though people have said that about you and you still want to keep going, right? You still want to keep growing and learning more about the world because you understand that there's an infinite amount of information and value that you can obtain. That's not a bad thing. That's a human need, right? For us to feel satisfied and comfortable within ourselves. But when you're chasing nothing, right, there's no point. So, how do we get very clear on what our vision is, right? How do we get very clear on what we want? How do we get very clear on what the best version of us looks like, right? So there's a couple different ways. One of the ways, right, I obviously always mention this just because it helps me. I've seen a lot of benefit from it, is meditation, right? Meditation is a great way for you to be able to go within your own mind, be able to experience a certain type of reality, basically, right? And what I mean by that is your mind, right, does not know the difference between a physical reality, right, and a vision that you have inside of your head, right? So if you're physically walking from this point in time, right, so you're walking from here over to the staircase, right, your mind does not know the difference between you actually doing it and you doing it within your mind, right? It does not know the difference between you actually doing it and you doing it within your mind, right? So when you're able to close your eyes and sit, right, within yourself, within your thoughts, right, and just be able to vividly visualize what it is that you want, it allows you to see a very clear picture and kind of get the answers that you're wanting and asking, right? Another good way of doing it is you can do like physical drawing. If you really like drawing, right, ask yourself, what type of person do I want to be? And physically draw it on paper. Draw a picture of yourself or just a body of you, right? And around that, write down different words of the different types of personality traits that you want to have, right? One of the things that I used to do as well is every single morning, I would write down what my desires were of the type of person that I wanted to be for my health, for my wealth, for my relationships, and what I wanted spiritually, right? So I would write down health. And then right below that, then I would write down what kind of health that I want to have. Well, I want to be able to have an unlimited amount of energy. As soon as I wake up, I want to feel this rush of intense passion and intense happiness, right? When it comes to my physical health, I want to feel strong. I want to feel that everything is working properly within itself. And I don't want to feel like nasty or bloated like I do when I eat bad foods, right? So I want to make sure that I'm eating healthy enough to where I feel good within myself. That's the way it is for me, right? For someone else, maybe they're already at that point and they want to grow even further. Now I want to be able to get bigger muscles within myself so I feel even stronger. I want to make it to where I know I have a lot of energy, but I want to have even more energy without having to have caffeine or anything else within myself, right? So depending on where you're at in your life, it's really good to be able to write those down, right? So again, let's go through a few of those. So you can either meditate, right? Meditate is really good, being able to sit within yourself and really recognize like what is it that I want. Your mind doesn't know the difference between it being a physical reality or it being like within your own mind, right? So it's really good to be able to envision it that way, a really great way of doing it. If you like to draw, if you're very artistic, right, go ahead and write down or draw, right, this picture of yourself and the personality traits with around you and within you, right, within that drawing, so that you understand what type of person you want to be. If you like to write, do the exercise I just said, write down health, write down wealth, write down relationships, and write down spiritual. And then underneath one of those, write down what kind of traits do you want to have in each one of those areas. If you're a musical person and you're a sound type of person, right, write a song. Write a song about the person that you want to be. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I'll do that as well. I love playing music. I love playing guitar. I love singing. So maybe that's a good way that'll help me as well. It's really just trial and error, right? No one is going to know what is best for you except for you. So let's go ahead and go into the next one here. So see it again, right, is basically just to be able to vision it, right? Get very, very clear on the type of person that you want to be. What is the best you considered in your mind, right? If someone was like, man, Daisha, like, what is the best version of you in your mind? I would say that it's me being able to naturally, right, and automatically, subconsciously control my emotional state to where I'm not reacting bad in any type of situation. I would say that it's me having healthy relationships with my family, with my spouse, with my business partners, and with people that I don't even know. And the third thing I would say is I contribute to other people, right? The best version of me, I am always contributing. It doesn't matter if like something horrible is going on in the world. It doesn't matter if I am completely broke. I am always going to be contributing. So to me, that's the best version of me. Mama says, hello, beautiful. What's up, Mama? Hope you're doing awesome. Thanks for jumping on here. So the next one is to feel it, right? Once you're able to visually see what's going on, the next is to feel it. Now, when it means to feel it, right? I'm not saying to physically touch and feel with our senses. What I'm meaning is based off of you being inside of that experience within your own mind of being your best self, being able to feel what it feels like to become that best version of you. Right? If you were already that best version, let's say for you, the best version of you is being able to make $100,000 a year, being able to have that really nice house, being able to take care of your family, and being at a peace of mind within yourself and your state, right? Depending on where you're at in your life, maybe that is your goal, right? Maybe that is the best version of yourself, and that's okay, right? As long as you're not doing it because of the outside society. What would it feel like to already obtain that? For me to be able to, what it would feel like to be able to already be my best self, it already makes me smile. You can see the difference in the reaction of my face. It makes me feel exhilarated. It makes me feel passionate. It makes me feel excited. I literally just got this like goosebumps and rush of energy just thinking, man, me already being my best self, right? Me already being my best self, me already growing, and me already always contributing to people whether I'm broke or not, right? Me already being able to balance out my emotional state. It doesn't matter what happens to me. It doesn't matter the situation, what drama is going on. I react in a good way and it doesn't matter because I am confident within my own abilities. I am confident within my own self. I am confident in the decisions that I make because no matter what decisions I make, it's always a lesson, right? That to me feels insanely exhilarating. It feels insanely amazing. But for you, how would it feel? How would it feel to already be the best version of you? If you're wanting to feel more confident, if you're wanting to lose that weight because you want to feel more confident, if you're wanting to gain that business so you don't have to be controlled and bogged down by a boss anymore, if you want to be able to write that book so that you can inspire people and show those other people that they were wrong, thinking less of you, what would it feel like? How would it feel to already obtain it? Once you're able to feel it, and you'll know when you feel it, right? It's a different type of feeling. It's like you have these electric charges being sent out throughout your body. And that may sound a little weird, but it's true, right? Every single time that you feel something, what's happening is there's a chemical reaction going on throughout your body. When you think of something and it reacts one of those certain I can't even think of what the word is now. It reacts something certain within your brain, right? It sends a certain chemical throughout your body that makes you feel something, right? So it makes sense that it would feel like this electric charge because you have these chemicals flowing throughout your body, right? You'll know when you feel it. Once you feel it, right, and you combine that with seeing, right, being able to visually see it, two things happen, right? It happens within the energetic field, and it also happens within your subconscious mind, right? So within your subconscious mind, if you don't know what your subconscious mind is, this is basically your automatic system, right? Every single time mama says it would be amazing, it would, right? So every single time that you're doing something without thinking about it, you oftentimes the examples that I like to use is when you're like brushing your teeth in the morning, right? Oftentimes when someone picks up that toothbrush, they put toothpaste on it, they put it in their mouth and they're brushing their teeth. Oftentimes they're not thinking about how the like brushes on the toothbrush are going against your gums and feeling how it feels when it's going against your teeth and cleaning. That's not what they're thinking about, right? They're probably thinking about, man, I got to go to work today. I got to be able to take care of the kids. I got to be able to pick up this person. I got to make sure that I go and pay this bill. And they're thinking about all these other things, right? So why is it that our body is just doing this on an automatic system, right? We don't even have to think about it. It just goes and goes and goes. That is all created by your subconscious mind, right? Your subconscious mind does things on autopilot without you having to think about it. When you're driving in a car, right? If you're driving in a car and then all of a sudden you've gone 20, 30 miles down the road and you're like, holy crap, like who was just driving that car, right? Like, I don't even remember what was going on. I was totally in like my own trance thinking about the football game that's coming up next week, or thinking about what I have to do for my business and all of the automation systems that I have to set up. I wasn't even thinking about the road. I wasn't even thinking about driving. And yet you were completely safe, right? The entire time going down the road, whether there was curves or not. That is all created by your subconscious mind. So when you see something and you combine that with feeling something, what happens is it almost like merges together and pushes past that door of your conscious into your subconscious. And now all of a sudden it is now locked in to that subconscious. And when it's locked into your subconscious, you no longer have to think about it. All of a sudden you're going to be heading towards what you want without even realizing it. Right. So if you're wanting to be able to start up that business and make enough money to be able to quit your job, because that to you feels amazing, it feels like you being your absolute best self, the next level of being your best self, right? Because again, you're always going to want to grow. It's one of those human needs, but being able to level up onto that next best self, right? What's going to happen is if you can see it and you can feel it and you can combine those to push past into your subconscious mind and lock it in there, you're going to be waking up and you're going to naturally be walking towards and doing certain actions, right, that align with you being able to obtain that goal. That's the power of it when it comes to the subconscious mind. Now, when it comes to the energy field, right, when you feel something and you see something, what happens is it sends a certain chemical reaction throughout your body, right, into your heart. And then your heart starts pumping in a certain way. And when your heart starts pumping in a certain way, what happens is there's this energetic field around it, just like a magnet, right? When you take a magnet, right, and you take another magnet, they have these energy fields around them. You can't see it, but all of a sudden they'll either push against each other or they're going to stick to each other, depending on the magnetic field. Same thing is going on with your heart. When your heart starts beating in a certain way and pumping things in a certain way, what it does is it creates this energy field around it that ends up going around your entire body. Once something goes around your entire body of that energy field, now that energy field is going to hit the quantum field. And inside of the quantum field, every single possibility exists, right? Everything is basically coming together and being created. And if you can influence, right, that quantum field to be able to align you with what it is that you want, then all of a sudden you're going to be able to obtain what it is that you want in a very quick and effective way. Now, I know that may sound a little weird, right? If you don't know what the quantum field is, I know that may sound completely crazy. You're like, what the heck is the quantum field? I get it, right? Go and watch the series Rewired on Gaia. There's a 7-day free trial, right? You can easily watch that series within 7 days. There's only 13 episodes on it, but it explains the quantum field. It explains how our mind and our pineal gland and everything else is affected when we're thinking certain things, when we're feeling certain things, and when we combine those two and it affects that energy field. So the last and final one is to become it. Now, becoming it, I want to talk about becoming it both in the mind and in the physical world, right? When I talk about the physical 3-dimensional world, I mean when your eyes are open and you're seeing things and you're experiencing through your senses, right? Your smell, your taste, your feel, your sight, right? When you're experiencing those things, you're inside of the physical world, right? When you go into your mind, right, and become it within your mind, that basically means that you're just envisioning it. You are embodying it within your mind, right? Now, the reason why you want to do this is because your mind does not know the difference between the two. So if you're doing it within your mind and you're doing it within your body, then all of a sudden you're going to connect those and align those together. Then again, it's going to push it into your subconscious and lock it into that subconscious mind even further and affect that quantum field. So how do we becoming it? My mama said loving Gaia. I do too, right? There's so many cool things on there. There's this other one called Ancient Civilization. It talks about like the Garden of Eden and all of these different things about like kind of the history behind it, like the physical history. They go and find the Garden of Eden. They go and find all of these different tablets from like the Simonian. I'm not even really sure how to pronounce it, but they have these tablets that explain a lot of different things about our past and kind of some different things with that as well. But I don't want to get too into that. So becoming both in your mind and in the physical world. So what does it mean to become it within the physical world? So becoming within the physical world basically means to obtain it, right? Being able to fully obtain what it is that you truly desire, right? That's going to help you level up to that next best self, right? Being able to obtain it. That's the next step, right? Once you become it, right, then you have fully obtained it and the process is done. And now you can move on to the next level, right? Becoming it within your mind. Now, this is an interesting thing, right? Because some people need it in different ways. For me, I need to be able to kind of physically see it, right? So for me, I need to be in a meditation. That's just how my mind works. Other people don't need it. I do, right? It's just how my mind works. I haven't gotten to that next level where I don't need that meditation. So with meditation, what I do is while I'm in this meditation, after I've calmed my body down, I've calmed my mind down, I've kind of stepped out of this focusing on the physical three-dimensional reality, right? Once I fully let go of that, the next thing that I do is I visualize myself, right? I visualize myself standing in a field, standing on a flat platform, standing in absolutely nothing. It's just whiteness around me. It doesn't matter. I just visualize my physical self. And I visualize the back of me, right? And as I'm visualizing this, I'm walking towards this person, right? This me, right? And once I get there, I tap this person on the shoulder, I tap me on the shoulder, and they turn around. And when they turn around, all of a sudden, I always get this insane amount of like synergy within my body, right? Because that is the future me. I literally see the future me. And as I'm staring at this future me, right, I put my hand out to shake their hand. And as soon as I put my hand out to shake their hand and they grab mine, all of a sudden I become them. And as I become them, then all of a sudden there's another chemical reaction within my body that makes me feel insanely and beautifully connected and in control and confident and enlightened. And I can't even explain it because it's just an amazing feeling. You can tell just by the raise in my voice. I love it, right? I love that feeling. Basically, what's happening is in my mind, I am becoming that future self. And all of a sudden, now I'm feeling it, right? Now I'm seeing it even more clearly. And now I can actually accept within my conscious mind, even not just my subconscious, but my conscious mind, that this can actually be a reality. When you become it within your mind, then all of a sudden you're like, wow, yeah, this can become my physical reality. This can become my three-dimensional reality, right? And because you're subconscious, right, you've already seen it, you're already feeling it, your subconscious is now pushing you towards that, right? And the quantum field is now attracting it back to you, right? Now, all of a sudden, you're becoming it within your mind, and now you will become it within the physical world. So I hope this is making sense. I know there is a lot of like back and forth when it comes to three-dimensional world and our mind and 5 dimension and quantum and all this crazy stuff. I know that there's a lot when it comes to it, but really the thing that I want you to focus on is just that formula, right? See it, feel it, become it, right? Whether that's just in the meditation state and you need to get really solid on that, whether it's just being able to daydream, right? There's a lot of people that naturally daydream with their eyes open. I can't personally do it, right? I have to close my eyes. I don't know what it is about it. But like I'm guessing the light, right? Especially if I'm blindfolded, I can visualize things like crazy. But for other people, they need to be looking at something and they can just be blankly looking at something and daydreaming and visualizing this process, which is basically meditation as well, just with your eyes open. But you just want to see it within your mind, right? You want to be able to feel the reaction. You want to be able to feel that chemical reaction within your body that like basically makes you feel like you've already obtained it, right? And once you feel like you've already obtained it, then all of a sudden you're going to become it. Right? Once you become it within your mind, all of a sudden your mind's like, wow, yeah, this is a possibility. Like this could actually happen. I already felt like what it would feel like to already be able to obtain it, right? So I can make it my three-dimensional reality. And I'm going to make it my goal to be able to do that, right? And this is going to be going on in your subconscious. You may not even be thinking about this. All of a sudden it's going to be like, yeah, you know, I can obtain that and I'm going to, right? It's going to be my goal to be able to obtain that. Because once I do, then I can go to the next level. It's like a video game, right? Your life is like a video game. You go on to one level, right? And you feel good, right? You feel really accomplished that you did that, but you want to go more, right? You want to challenge yourself. You want to push further. You want to get to that next level. So let's go ahead and level up, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me on this Daily Dose with Daisha. I know it went a little bit longer than what my normal ones do, but I'm kind of just trying to let this information flow through from this point forward, right? I feel like that's what a podcast is all about, being able to just talk on what your mind is, right? As long as you have a very simple structure, a very simple like base of what it is that you want to talk about, and just being able to flow off of that, right? It really allows us to connect in a more deep way, in my opinion. So have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this. Again, if you are on my YouTube channel, make sure to hit that subscribe and notification button. Helps me so much to be able to keep putting out these free videos. If you're on my podcast channel, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to this and showing your support and sending over those donations. It helps me more than you could possibly know. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.